How am I supposed to manage a sales team in a high turnover environment? Well, let me tell ya. Hey, sales family. We don't like the word family in business, okay? We just don't. I know it's a Reddit community, not a fan. Hi, everyone. I'm looking at a promotion in January to mid-level sales management. My industry, copier sales, and company has a high turnover. My company, in my opinion, is awesome.
It was perfect. Perfect.
Management is generally flexible. They don't hound you for quota like some other places. And they are generally caring of their employees. But still, people come and go like a revolving door. If I'm going to manage a sales team when people already drop like flies, how do I manage in a way that will still motivate, get results, but not drive people away? Any insight would be awesome. Why are people leaving? Why have they left? What's the reason for the turnover? You seem to love this company. You said, quote, my company in my opinion is awesome. If it's that awesome, why are people leaving? You said management is generally flexible. They're so flexible, why are people leaving? They don't hound you for quota. Bull. I don't believe it. You're working copier sales? I don't believe it. I just don't. Here's the thing. Your experience as a manager, and we don't have this context, right? Because you say you're about to be promoted to mid-level sales management. So we don't actually know, did you come into this business as a rep? Or did you come in as a manager and then are now moving up to mid-management? That's unclear. In saying that, your experience of the business could be completely different from the people actually picking up the phone or knocking doors, right? It seems also like it would be very hard for a rep to come to you and to discuss the things that they don't like about the business or give you feedback. Because if you're happy-go-lucky about the business, you might unintentionally have given people the idea that any negative feedback, any critical feedback, let me put it that way, that any critical feedback is to be brushed off because the company is so amazing. There's no reason to complain. You certainly don't have any. So I think it's really important that you start figuring out why people leave. And I think it's really important to figure out if there is a blind spot that you hold, if you are biased in how great you consider this company to be. And if that bias is preventing people from being honest with you about their experience within the company. Facts are facts. If you are dealing with high turnover to the extent that you're coming to Reddit to figure out how to manage that before you even got the promotion, that's a big problem. That is a big red flag. But those are just my thoughts. Let's have a look at the comments. I don't know if I can say this username out loud, but this person says, you need to find out why they're leaving. You have to know what a problem is in order to fix it. You'll waste time and resources making changes where they're not needed. Bingo. Someone commented to that comment and said, this should be the end of the thread, honestly. Seems like you're not managing yet, so I'll give you advice on what you can do now. Are the people leaving high performers? If so, is compensation attractive? Great question. Do you feel that those that have left felt similarly about management in the company as you do? Exactly. Everyone has their own perspective. Where are others leaving to? Competitors, different industry, better title, etc. Yes. Is it one specific role that's trending higher than others? Yes. In essence, why do people leave? Where do they go? OP responded and said, yeah, I have some hunches. It's honestly a tough industry to make attractive, so it's up to my company to make it better. Also, one of our current sales managers is a joke and drives people nuts with their incompetence. So it's not so great. It's not such a great company. A lot of people are saying the same thing. ROP was in prison for a few years and used that as a response to someone's comment saying, I also think that many people in jobs like this come from unstable environments, so you also need to provide them with a stable environment. And then he says, yeah, I was in prison for a few years, so it makes sense. And that person responds again saying, none of my business, but when were you in for? Congrats for turning it around. To which OP says, I was kidding, dog. I don't know, were you? It's also a very strange thing to say. Unstable environment? What does that even mean? That's very, very strange. I think that's also a very big stereotype in sales is that you have to be demented to go for it or enjoy it. And granted, I have not, in my personal network, heard of anyone who went to school with the idea, went to college or whatever, with the idea that they were going to be in sales or they were going to be a seller. I also don't know anyone that said, I lie. I know one person in my entire life of living that has said that working in sales is his absolute dream. He was also interning at Google in the sales department, so I wonder if that might have something to do with it. But yeah, I feel like everyone that ends up in sales, at least everyone that I know, is you kind of roll into it. Like, backstory, context, I actually ended up in sales because I wanted to work in music. I'll connect the dots. I promise I'll connect the dots for you. So right out of college, I studied media and entertainment management. So right after college, I started working for a record label and I worked there for 2 years. And when I wanted to move up the ranks and try and do, different jobs, I would put myself in different projects and stuff. They were happy to have me do it for free, obviously. But when I said I actually wanted to go into those different roles, they kept saying to me, well, you lack the commercial experience. You've never worked with external stakeholders before. You probably wouldn't be very successful because you lack commercial experience. And in my brain, I thought, what is more commercial than picking up the phone, calling someone cold, and selling them something?
Well, reason for the call today, John, is
if you want commercial experience, I'm gonna go get it. Now, that has gotten completely out of hand, and now it's my entire career in my business. But again, it's an example of someone who ended up in sales. It wasn't really part of the plan, and the plan also wasn't to stay in sales, but what can I say? I fell in love with it, and I genuinely love it more than, I've never said this out loud before, but I do genuinely love it more than what I would have done at the record label. I mean that 100%. The experiences I've had, the places I've been, oh my goodness. Yeah, no. And I come from a stable home, so there's also that. I'm not crazy. Or am I? Hope you found that useful, if not entertaining, and I will see you in the next one.